Hi everyone, this is Ray. Some of you might know me as Tiki With Ray, and today I'm actually at TikiCon 2019. This is the facade of what the original TikiCon was here at the hotel here in Portland. I think it's the DoubleTree, but back then was something else.
Sheridan.
The Sheridan. But today I'm here with my good friend Kevin Crossman of Ultimate Mai Tai. Now, what's Ultimate Mai Tai all about? Well, Kevin's going to tell you.
Well, good to be here again with you, Ray, and
Good to be here again with me, Ray. Like we've done this before. What's Ultimate Mai Tai about?
well, it's interesting because I started a website 20 years ago, the search for the Ultimate Mai Tai, and
20 years ago.
20 years ago, and it was actually sort of a little bit like Critique, where people could send in reviews of the Mai Tais that they had and rate them and that sort of thing. And it was very low tech, was not fancy, and after a few years, I started having kids and didn't spend as much time with it. And
No, it wasn't like pass or fail when it came to the Mai Tai.
Well, a lot of them were fails.
Especially
back then because...
Yeah, 20 years ago, I mean, like, shit, well, there was hardly any good places where you can get a good drink.
Well, and the rums were not good and all that, so...
No, wait, hold on. If you were doing this 20 years ago, well, how long were you into Tiki before that to get to the point where, like, I'm that passionate about Mai Tais, I'm going to make a website about it?
I created all kinds of crazy websites back in those days in the 90s. It was the 90s. People created websites for anything.
No, they didn't. But I guess you did.
Yeah.
When did you get into Tiki then?
It was around the mid-90s.
You got into it in the mid-90s?
Yeah, I got into it from the music side. So I got it was Lounge was going in, and then then that led into Exotica, and then that led into Tiki for me.
Wow, so were you actually going to like clubs and stuff like that, to like lounges to actually see bands and...
I saw a few, yeah. I was at the Bongos by the Bay. That was a great event.
Oh my God! Well, what was the Tiki scene like back in the 90s then? I'm thinking not big at all. Right?
No, it was not that big, and we were sort of on the fringe of it in the Bay Area because we were in the suburbs, and I was not deep into it. It was sort of like something I did. Listen to records and go to a tiki bar if we were in town in some place in Vegas, or go up to the city every once in a while, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But we did, I did go out and seek out some places that supposedly had good Mai Tais, like Damon's down in Glendale and places like that.
Supposed.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like if the first place you mentioned is Damon's, I'm kind of like, all right, I see where this is going. I mean, like, was there any good tiki bars in the Bay Area back then?
Well,
Trader
Vic's was there, and that was.
And they had their 44.
Yeah. Well, back then you would order it as what they then called the Old Way.
The Old Way.
And then later on, the Old Way turned into something where it was a Mai Tai with a float and something else. So it sort of evolved, but.
So even back then, it's sort of like it was that hard to get a true 44 Mai Tai. Even at Trader Vic's?
Even at Trader Vic's, exactly.
And they weren't even calling it a 44?
No, absolutely not.
So what are you supposed to do, or what did you do?
Well, that recipe was around, and so you could make it the original way. The problem was that you had Appleton rum, and that was about it in terms of really good rums. So it's just so much different now with all these rum choices and longer aged rums and easy to get. The internet, order it depending on what state you're in and all that sort of thing. So a lot better now.
So Kevin, when you made your first 44 Mai, hold on, I guess this is the better question. Did you make your first 44 or did you actually have it somewhere? And where would that have been? Because most of the Mai Tais you would have been drinking are definitely not 44 recipes. It's probably the Island Mai Tai and a bastardization of that at best.
Right, absolutely. And Trader Vic's probably would have been that place.
Trader Vic's.
Back in the day.
And I do like their Old Way Mai Tai. I mean, it's the 44.
Yeah.
And I do. But I've had way better.
Well, today they use the Trader Vic's rum, which is not the greatest rum, right?
No,
so if you go to Trader Vic's and you order an Appleton 12 or some other higher end rum, it tastes a lot better because it's better rum.
Yeah.
So, otherwise they make a good Mai Tai, even so.
So when you made your own? How did that compare to the Trader Vic's? Where you're like, oh, this blows it away? Was it the same?
It's pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same. Okay.
The back then the orgeat that you would buy was not so good, but then it was the same kind of crappy orgeat that they had even at Trader Vic's.
Oh yeah.
So again, that's the other thing too, is that besides just the rums, now you get all these craft cocktail ingredients.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are you going to do to get orgeat? It's like you're still just going to go to a supermarket or something like that. I mean, what you're doing a lot of choices.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, so you started to do the website? Was it first you going to all these places and then putting or did you actually get a lot of feedback from like other people? Like, hey, this is my report on this Mai Tai at this place.
Yeah, I got people sent stuff in all the time, and I did a few
across the country.
Yeah, oh yeah, around the world.
Around the world,
a little bit around the world. So Europe mostly.
So okay, so back then when you were doing your website, where were the good places to get a good Mai Tai?
Well, there were a lot of good Mai Tais in Hawaii.
Hawaii, okay.
House Without a Key in the Hello Kalani Hotel was generally regarded as the best one.
Yeah.
A lot of people liked the Mai Tai at the Tiki back then, so there was a few places. There were more Trader Vic's back then too, where people could get Mai Tais.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was more. The chain was actually more apparent with them because there's like 2 places now in America.
Right, exactly. And so, but even then, it still was so small in terms of the interest and the people that were being reached and all that sort of thing.
Wow.
And I didn't do a great job with the website, and I kind of dropped it after a couple of years once I started having kids.
Was it on Angel Fire? GeoCities?
It wasn't on GeoCities.
Was it part of a ring?
It was a homegrown Perl website.
I can imagine. It's like the black background with the green writing and stuff like that. And used HTML to write it.
Yeah, I did.
Showing our age here. So, well, now we're a little bit more modern. Now we have better technology. When you started, Instagram.
Yep.
Is that so? Essentially, you took the website and just immediately started to go with Instagram, or did you make another website? Did you do anything else?
No. Well, right now I'm mostly just posting on Instagram.
Yeah.
Pretty much every day, and talking about what I'm doing, which is going and having Mai Tais or going to tiki bars or just experimenting with cocktails at home or whatever. And so, because if I do it daily, I don't have to write some big giant long post. But it's a little bit.
Yeah.
And people like pictures too, and so that's kind of fun. Yeah. And connecting with other people, it's a lot more popular than my little in the corner of the internet website. So.
No, I mean, well, that was the whole thing. So Kevin has contributed to my blog, and I love your writing, Kevin. And here's the thing. Here's a pro tip for all you out there. If you follow Kevin on Instagram, don't just skim through the pictures, because he has something to say, a lot to say.
Well, and I'm learning too, but I'm also trying to highlight what people are doing. If a new tiki bar is opening, I do a little repost on that, because we want people to go out and patronize these tiki bars, because if people don't patronize them, they go away and we don't have them anymore.
Well, and here's another thing too, though. And on the other side, though, what I really do like is that you're not afraid to say what you think. So if you go to a place and the Mai Tai isn't that good, you're not afraid to say, don't go here.
Right.
But if there is a place that's great, you're like, check this place out. So, since you've been doing your Instagram, how far have you traveled out of the Bay Area to go on the search for the ultimate Mai Tai?
Well, I've been around a lot of places in the United States and Canada in the last couple of years. So I visited 30 or 39 tiki bars last year.
39 tiki bars last year.
It's going to be higher this year because I'm going to more places. So.
Wow, dude.
Again, I'm not.
And I thought I've gone to a lot of tiki bars.
I'm not Jeremy Cash Dollar. I'm not going into someplace new every
No,
week,
I don't think anyone's Jeremy Cash Dollar. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy.
Well, he has a kid now, so he doesn't get out as much. We're going to pass you out, Jeremy. Just you wait. So, now that we're like in the third wave of tiki, we have craft cocktails. The craft cocktail movement has definitely pushed up the game in the tiki realm. Have you noticed that? Have you seen that?
Absolutely.
That you're starting to see more places where, hey, wow, I can get a good Mai Tai here. I can get a good Mai Tai here. You get a good Mai Tai here.
And they're using very often they're using the Denizen rum, which
Okay.
is recommended by Smuggler's Cove. So it's a good rum to have in a Mai Tai.
Or even if you go and like using Clement or an Agricole.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what that's definitely not something you weren't going to get back in like the 90s.
Right. That's right.
When we were at Forbidden Island, I had a Mai Tai there that had a Dr. Bird in it.
Yep.
You know?
Great rum.
Yeah, incredible. So is it easier now to find good Mai Tais on a more regular basis?
Easier.
Or is it still kind of hit and miss? And the reason why I ask that is because Mai Tais it's like, well, here's the recipe, but they're so all over the map on like the quality that it's like they don't really, you can't, they all taste differently.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
And I think even today you're still going to many places, mainstream places, and you get a Mai Tai that looks like this.
Is that a Mai Tai?
Well, it is. I ordered a Mai Tai, and this is what I got. I got orange juice, pineapple juice, a little bit of amaretto, and a dark rum float.
And 2 Advils.
Right.
So once you get that hangover immediately.
But that being said, a lot of people like this. The reason that Mai Tai became popular was not because Trader Vic's original recipe became so popular. It became popular when it went to Hawaii and added pineapple juice and the dark rum float, and everyone loved it on vacation and came back to the United States and said, "Let's have it."
Let me tell you something, Kevin. Most people have bad taste.
Well, that's the thing about
They do.
Obviously, I think that the 44 Mai Tai is a better cocktail.
It's amazing.
But I guess my point is that I think there's a lot of people who look at something like this and say it's still not a bad drink. It's just maybe not my preference, especially with all the juices in it.
Yeah.
Now, grenadine, that kind of stuff does not belong in a Mai Tai.
No.
But even Jason Alexander said he likes a Mai Tai like this with the pineapple juice if it's balanced enough.
There's a right way to make it, but like most of the time, it's like shit. Any time I've ever gone to a regular bar and ordered a Mai Tai because they have to have one, they're free pouring everything.
Well, yes.
It's disgusting, and it's a shame. Even when I go to like some tiki bars, like the lower notch tiki bars, if I'm not seeing someone measuring, I'm oh my god, this is gonna taste like shit.
Well, there's still lots of ways to go there, and if the Mai Tai is not so expensive, I guess I'm a bit willing to give them the benefit of the doubt on that.
Yeah.
And if they're not pretending to be a craft cocktail place, that's the problem. Is when you go to some places, and
Yes.
I've talked about it a little bit on that blog post for you, Ray, where they pretend to have the craft cocktail aesthetic, and then they put the wrong ingredients in. They're putting falernum or whatever into the Mai Tai, and it just doesn't taste right. So
It's a train wreck. So, well, let's go to the other end of this. Where are some of the better places, or the best places you've been to, where you've had a great Mai Tai? Ultimate Mai Tai.
Best Mai Tai I've had so far consistently is Smuggler's Cove.
Smuggler's Cove.
They make a great Mai Tai, and
Martin Cape.
they've used different rums, and it still tastes great.
Yeah.
I've been kind of, Agricole's not really my thing, but I went to Latitude 29, and they make it with the Agricole and the Jamaican rum,
Yeah.
and it was a great Mai Tai.
Yeah.
Just great.
That's the bump.
Completely blew me away.
It better be good, right?
Absolutely.
I honestly think like Rumba up in Seattle.
And Rumba was the other one.
That Mai Tai was great.
When we went there, I had it with the Appleton 12 rum, and it was really one of the best ones ever.
My favorite places are there. I had a really great Mai Tai at Foundation up in Milwaukee, and 3 Dots and a Dash in Chicago. Those were a great, solid 44. But I will always have a soft spot for the 44 at Trader Vic's. It's definitely not as well balanced as like those other places are, but it's still a good drink though.
Absolutely, it's a great drink there. I think they have it with the Trader Vic's syrup, and I don't think that Trader Vic's syrup is so bad.
Yeah.
But it is always better when you use the fresh ingredients, the real ingredients for the Mai Tai.
So, to end this video, we're going to tell you all out there what a true 44 Mai Tai recipe is. Because we both know it. I practically should just have it tattooed on my arm.
Well, there's some debate on how much lime juice to put in there.
What do you think? Let's start at the top. Lime juice. How much do you use?
1 ounce.
A full ounce.
1 ounce.
I like a half. I like Mai Tais to not be so tart, not as tart. So, but it should be a full ounce.
Again,
No, the recipe is a full ounce of rum of a lime juice.
the original recipe called for the juice of 1 lime,
But those were small back then.
but in another Trader Vic's book, he talked about the juice of 1 lime equals an ounce.
So there you go. Ounce of lime. Curacao. How much curacao?
Half ounce.
Half ounce of curacao. Okay. How much of the orgeat?
Half ounce.
Half ounce of orgeat. It's easy to just remember it all that way. Do you do the 2 rum blend or do you do a 1 rum blend?
I do a 4 rum blend.
A 4 rum blend.
When I make it at home.
Okay.
Appleton 12, Smith & Cross, OFTD, and the Plantation Zymaca.
How many ounces of each?
Half,
half ounce of each.
equal amounts.
Damn, that's...
And a 1/4 ounce of the Demerara syrup,
Yeah.
or rock candy syrup.
Yes. That sounds like a kick-ass Mai Tai. Me personally, being up here, I like to support Blair Reynolds. He makes a divine vanilla syrup
Yes, very good syrup.
that I like to use for the simple syrup. Or if you can get from Clement, they make a sugarcane syrup that it has like a clove notes to it. It definitely has a taste to it.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's a great taste, and I use that for the simple syrup. But I like to do kind of like the old school way, a dark Jamaican, Kruba, and I'll go with the Clement. I like to do a Clement or Denizen. People want to follow you, Kevin. Where are they going to go find you? What do they got to do?
Ultimate Mai Tai on Instagram is probably the easiest way.
Ultimate Mai Tai on Instagram, and Kevin writes some posts for me. All you got to do, seriously, is just search Kevin Crossman or Ultimate Mai Tai, and his post will come up in the Google feed. Kevin, thank you for coming on the show,
Always a pleasure, Ray.
and I won't hold you back to that awesome looking drink that you have there.
Tasty.
Is it?
No.
If I'm making a drink for people that have no idea what a Mai Tai is, then it's the almond syrup from Safeway. It's the Bull's sugar curacao. It's the rock candy syrup that you can like squeeze with a bottle, and then for the curacao, it's triple sec, and then Bacardi. So if you want to cheap out on your friends, that's what you do. Did you drink it all today?
No, of course I did.
Is that your first drink?
I drank it at 10 o'clock in the morning on my flight.
You're like, this party's gonna start right goddamn now. Aloha. Hey gang, this is Tiki with Ray, and I just want to say thank you very much for checking out my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more episodes, click on the subscribe button. And if you liked the video, give it a like. That would mean a lot to me. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave a comment in the comment section below.